Sicko Nation. If there was ever a Sixers Sickos type of game, a double overtime thriller with Wemby and the G League Spurs on a Sunday night, a 3-hour game, and it was just absolutely ridiculous. We thought it was over 3 different times. The Sixers never stopped fighting, and they somehow, some way, on the back of Tyrese Maxey, found a way to win that game. And like I always say, any win without Joel Embiid is a good win. Any win without Joel Embiid is a good win. They found a way to win that game. I think that lands them in the 7th seed, exactly 1 game behind the Indiana Pacers for the 6th seed. So hope is still alive to escape the play-in tournament. Thank you, everybody, for being here. 315 people. Please do me a favor. If you sat through that mess, close out the chat one time and hit the like button. Let's get 1,000 people in here. The only way we're going to do that is for you to push this stream through the algorithm by hitting the like button. So close out the chat one time and hit that little thumbs up, all right? Thanks for being here. And, of course, shout out to BetUS for sponsoring the channel.
BetUS, America's favorite sports book, where you can bet on everything, anytime. Sportsbook, casino, horse racing, live betting, and more. We have the best bonuses in the industry. That's right, get a 125% sign-up bonus. And to celebrate our 30-year anniversary, we are giving up to 30 risk-free bets, a truck, Super Bowl tickets, and more. Don't miss out. Play smart. Join now. BetUS, where the game begins.
That's right. BetUS is America's #1 online sports book. Right now, they're giving a 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,500 with a 10% gambler's insurance. Who else is doing that? That means if you deposit $500 right now, you will have $1,250 to play. Also, BetUS partnering with myself, we are giving away $125 in free money. We're giving $25 in free betting money to the first 5 people to DM me on Twitter showing me you made a BetUS account. Make a BetUS account, DM me the number on Twitter, and we will put 25 free betting dollars in your account. And what you're going to do with those free betting dollars is you're going to go over to BetUS.com and you're going to go to baseball. I'm doing this because all the NBA games are gone for the night, so I couldn't really show you anything NBA related on the website right now. You're going to go over to baseball, you're going to go to World Series winner, and you're going to put $25 on the Philadelphia Phillies at a plus 1,600. That's what you're going to do. They were in the World Series 2 years ago. They fell short last year. I got more faith this year. We're coming back. So that's what you're going to do, all right? Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring the channel. Link is in the description. Use the code JOIN125 for that 125 deposit bonus. And make an account and send me the number on Twitter. And you will get 25 more free dollars. We're giving you free money out here. All right, let's get down to business here. Thank you to BetUS for sponsoring the channel. The Philadelphia 76ers beat the San Antonio Spurs in double overtime fashion. 133 to 126. And I'm tired, guys. It's a Sunday, and those of you that were as locked in as I think I was watching this game, I feel like it took years off of my life. You know, it took so many turns. There were so many times where I thought we lost the game. We're seeing that the Miami lost. We're seeing that the Pacers won. And so we were saying that, you know, the 6th seed is still in play. The 6th seed is still alive. We could still escape the play-in tournament. And the second half of this game, we started playing like frauds. Actually, the second quarter of this game, we started playing like frauds. And late in the game, really, the whole third quarter, the whole second quarter, we got destroyed. And we were just having trouble trying to climb back into it, man. We kept cutting it to 11, 8, 7, whatever it was, and the Spurs would hit another 3. We would miss another wide open shot, and it just felt like we were going to lose this game, but Tyrese Maxey had other plans. Tyrese Maxey had other plans, and he said, damn it, we are not losing this game. You just absolutely have to be ecstatic about Tyrese Maxey and the what he's doing right now. It's the San Antonio Spurs, but to put the team on his back like that, that's number one option stuff. That's not Embiid's sidekick. That's not a fringe all-star. What Tyrese Maxey did tonight in this game was superstar level stuff. Superstar level stuff. To put this NBA team on his back and carry them through double overtime, dropping 52 points, and make sure his team got the win. And, he wasn't shooting the ball great the whole game. The first half, he was 1 for 7 from 3, I think. He did not have good numbers efficiency-wise in the first half of this game. He ended up finishing the game 19 for 41. So that's not terrible. But he was 2 for 10 from 3. But again, this is why I really don't ever look at advanced analytics. This is why I don't really look at efficiency numbers. I look at the game from start to finish and who won the game. For me, this is what Allen Iverson used to do with those Sixers teams in the early 2000s. It was the Allen Iverson show from start to finish, not because he was a selfish player, because there wasn't anybody else that could put the ball in the hoop. That's exactly what you saw with Tyrese Maxey tonight. And some people are going to look at 41 field goal attempts in today's NBA fan base and find a way to spin this into a negative. But without Tyrese Maxey putting up 41 shot attempts in this game, the Sixers lose. Without Tyrese Maxey not wavering by having a bad shooting game in the first half of the game, the Sixers win. If he would have said, I'm not shooting great, and lost his confidence and started to shy away from open shots, Sixers lose this game. But because he had a short-term memory, it's the next play. The past doesn't exist. What happened in the first half doesn't exist. And he just said, I'm going. That's how the Sixers won this game. And even at 23 years old on a back-to-back, I don't know how he has that energy in both overtimes. I just can't imagine the burn that my legs would feel if I was sprinting full speed, nonstop for how many minutes did he play? The minutes aren't on ESPN. Either way, I don't know how he had the energy he had in the double overtimes. And you just have to credit his resiliency in this game to just attack and attack and attack and attack and attack and attack. Because he knew, if I don't attack, we're losing this game. And I actually think that Nick Nurse probably said something to him at halftime, because Tyrese, in the first half of this game, was trying too hard to be a point guard. He was trying too hard to get his teammates involved. He was being too unselfish. He was trying too hard to be a facilitator. And I don't know if he said this to him at halftime, but I feel like the second half, Tyrese Maxey was more of a, you know what? Everybody's throwing up bricks out here. Nobody can score. I need to put the ball in the hoop. And I think Nick might have said that at halftime. He might have said, Tyrese, I understand you're trying to get your teammates involved, but we need you to score to win this game. We need you to attack relentlessly to win this game. And he just attacked relentlessly. In the first half, there was some very questionable full contact defense that wasn't being called for him, but he kept attacking. So not just missing shots in the first half, not getting calls in the first half didn't prevent him from attacking in the second half either. The referees, for whatever reason, started to come around to his side later in the game, in the fourth quarter and the overtimes. But he was not getting a friendly whistle the first 3.5 quarters of the game. And he just kept attacking. And, that's just heart. The kid has heart. The kid has heart. And he just drug the Philadelphia 76ers to victory all by himself. No Joel Embiid. Wemby out there doing Wemby things. And Tyrese Maxey had a superstar level performance, man. He had a superstar level performance in this game. He had a nice finish around Wemby in the third quarter. He had a ridiculous up and under finish and one late in the game. What else I got on Maxey, man? He attacked Wemby in the fourth quarter. I mean, he got hacked so blatantly, obviously. And I don't want to be that guy. And if we lost this game, I wasn't going to blame it on officiating, even though I thought they were horrendous. But the disrespect that Tyrese Maxey is getting from NBA officials, Sixers got to do something about it. We got to send some film into the NBA front offices, because the disrespect that Tyrese Maxey is getting from these officials is not right. It's flat out not right. This is a 23-year-old all-star. I'm seeing ghost calls for Zach fucking Collins. I'm seeing Zach Collins Euro down the lane, nobody touches him, and the ref's calling a foul. And I'm seeing Tyrese Maxey get hacked across both arms by Victor Wembanyama, bro. He's 7'5". If you can't see that hack, you can't see anything. I don't understand the Tyrese Maxey no calls, but I just credit him for having the damn heart and resiliency to put the team on his back, not let the officials take him out of the game, not let his missed shots in the first half take him out of the game. In the fourth quarter, when it really came down to it, and we looked down and out, there was there wasn't a lot of time left. I think we were getting close to under a minute, and it looked like it was over. Tyrese Maxey said, hell no, it's not over. Drive to the basket. Then he hits a three from the right wing. Then he has another drive to the basket. 7 straight points from Tyrese Maxey in that fourth quarter when I felt like the game was over. He just refused to quit. He refused to let the Sixers lose this game. Then 15 seconds left. We're down what, bro? We're down 3? And he kicks it over to Batum. Batum hits a massive three-pointer. And then we were down 2. Maxey's in the backcourt. Nick Nurse draws up this ridiculous football play. Gets a screen from Kelly Oubre at half court. And then just backdoor cuts. Nicholas Batum, a perfect dime to get the layup for Maxey with 0.2 on the clock to tie the game to send it to overtime. What happened in overtime, man? Victor Wembanyama turned into Nikola Jokic in the first overtime. So the Sixers are like, listen, we can't stop Wemby. We can't. Every time he touches the ball, he's either getting a foul call or he's giving us a bucket. And honestly, Victor Wembanyama has a Joel Embiid whistle as a rookie. It's unbelievable to me. I understand the NBA thinks he's the next face of the league, and maybe he is. And I understand he's a major name in the game right now. I understand the level of popularity. I understand that he's from France, which one of the NBA's goals is globalizing the sport. I understand all of it. But he's a rookie. And he's getting a Joel Embiid whistle. I mean, he's just like kind of leaning in, barely getting touched. Whistle, 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 whistle. So we get to overtime and we say, he's either scoring or getting fouled every time. And I felt against Wemby tonight, and that's not a discredit to him by any means. He is amazing. Somebody to be able to do the things that he does at 7'4" is absolutely ridiculous. And I felt tonight against Wemby the way that other teams feel probably playing against Joel Embiid. We got to the point where we were fighting on the other end. We were matching bucket for bucket, but we could not stop this dude. He was either getting a foul call or a bucket. It felt like every possession, and that's probably what other teams feel like playing against Joel Embiid. That's what I felt like against Wemby tonight. So overtime, we say, we got to make somebody else beat us. We got to double him. We got to triple him. And again, credit to him. Imagine a rookie demanding a triple team in overtime because the team can't stop him. And it went into second overtime because we double teamed him again. He kicked it out to someone for three. They hit a three. We were trying to say, listen, we're going to double him. We're going to triple him maybe. We're going to make somebody else beat us. And they kept hitting the shots. The Spurs were the freaking 2016 Golden State Warriors for 5 quarters. Finally, they came back down to earth a little bit in the second overtime. And they missed a couple of wide open threes. They ran out of gas, and we put it away. The second overtime, Tyrese Maxey, still cooking. You know, I don't understand how, like I said, I don't know how he had the energy in the second overtime. He didn't slow down at all. The Spurs looked like they burned out a little bit. Tyrese Maxey did not. The offensive foul call that was overturned is absolutely ridiculous. The NBA continues to blow my mind with the fact that there's no actual rules on these official reviews. And here's what I want to say about it. Tyrese does a swing through with the ball, right? A Euro step swing through. Right to left. It's an offensive basketball move, okay? Here's what I want to explain. His elbow hit the defender in the chin, okay? If that's the defender's shoulder, his elbow, his forearm, his wrist, anything, it's a defensive foul because the offensive player is making a move to the basket. He's not trying to hit him in the face. And the defender impedes his progress to the basket with physical contact. It's a foul. But because he played defense with his face, it's an offensive foul. I don't understand it. If you're just going up for a normal shot and the defender puts his face in the way, it's an offensive foul. It doesn't. Somebody make it make sense to me. Because he put his face in front of the elbow, it's an offensive foul. That's stupid. That's part one. Part two is you can't challenge a no call. So the call that was called on the floor is a defensive foul. So the challenge is that a defensive foul or not? They did not call an offensive foul. So how can you reverse the call, but you can't challenge a no call? The NBA needs to figure out what the hell is going on when they review a play. Because basically in the offseason they said, all right, we're going to add challenges and reviews. And they said, okay, what are the stipulations? And they were like, oh, there's no stipulations. Just make it up as you go. We don't know. You want to make up marginal contact, whatever else you want to say, just make it up. We don't know, bro. It's ridiculous. But anyway, Maxey was just unbelievable, and to still have that level of energy in the second overtime was crazy. The second thing I want to say, I'm going to try not to yell about this, but I'm so passionate about this topic, my just octaves naturally go up. Cameron Payne was putting up bricks in this game, right? And it felt like nobody had any level of effectiveness outside of Tyrese Maxey. And in the second half, we needed somebody to come into the game and do something. We needed somebody to come into the game and affect the game in a positive way. And guess who it was? Ricky Council the fourth. I don't know what else Nick Nurse needs to see for Ricky Council to have major rotation minutes on this team. I don't know what else he needs to see. We thought Ricky Council... Let me talk about what Ricky Council did, and then I want to assess Ricky Council. Ricky Council, in the second overtime... All right, in the first overtime, a tough drive, and I think he got a foul call. But he was making something happen out of nothing, forcing his way in the lane with brute strength. He's so solid the way that he attacks the rim. He stays square. A defender can't knock him off of his feet. He's incredibly strong and has a really strong sense of center of gravity. The play that he made that was the craziest was the drive and the wraparound left-handed skip pass to the corner to Nicholas Batum. I didn't even know Ricky Council had that in his bag. He had that play. He had a crazy up and under finish on Wembanyama in crunch time in the second overtime. He hit 2 huge free throws. The crazy pass was in the second overtime. He had a big time assist to KJ Martin in the first overtime that helped us get to second overtime. Like, I'm going to shit out of order a little bit here. But basically, we thought in the beginning, a couple of months ago, Ricky Council was just an athletic G League guy, right? But then the more we watched him, we started to say, hold on a second. This dude actually has a lot of control. He has a great handle on the ball. And he seems to have a pretty high basketball IQ. He's not really out there doing dumb things. He's not just some athletic goon out of the G League that doesn't have a basketball IQ. And you get him in a game in overtime and double overtime in the biggest parts of the game, and he's making very big plays. So I don't know what else Nick Nurse needs to see from Ricky Council, but he has athleticism. He hit 2 huge free throws. He's got the handle. He has the crossover. He's forcing his way in the lane. He's drawing contact. He's finishing through contact. Ricky Council came in the game when it looked like we were about to fall on our face because nobody outside of Tyrese could make anything happen. And he saved the game. And the crazy up and under finish on Wemby in the second overtime, the 2 massive free throws in the second overtime, and the crazy wraparound pass to Batum in the corner for a clutch 3-pointer. I'm blown away by that. I don't know what else Ricky Council needs to do to be part of this to be part of this rotation. It's really crazy to me that he hasn't gotten that respect yet. It's crazy to me. It really is. It really is. I don't know. Nick, we're going to need an explanation. Now, here's what's going to happen, sadly. You got a max contract player who's been out with injury for 3 games now, who does not step up and do those types of things, who does not affect the game in that way. And when he's healthy, he's going to come right back into the starting lineup, and he's going to play major minutes on this team, and we're going to have to hope in the playoffs that either Tobias Harris somehow does what Ricky Council just did, or if you get into a game like that where you need more physicality and you need somebody to force his way in the lane and create something out of nothing, Nick Nurse actually has the cojones to say, you know what, I'm putting Ricky Council in the third quarter right here. Or I'm putting Ricky Council in the fourth quarter right here. I need a warrior. I need a dog. I need somebody that's going to go out there and fight. And we'll just have to see what happens. But I wouldn't say I have a lot of confidence in that because I still think there's a lot of politics at play when it comes to Ricky Council, Tobias Harris, the whole thing. But Tyrese Maxey carried us across the battlefield, and Ricky Council saved us when it looked like nobody was there to step up. Martin Santiago, my guy. Thank you for the super chat, man. Do you love this game? Crazy vibes. Yeah, man. I if the Sixers somehow avoid the play-in tournament, I would be ecstatic. I would love to get the 6th seed and play the Cavs, the Magic, whoever, over fighting out of the play-in tournament. But I have confidence in the play-in tournament too. You're probably gonna have a one-off game against the Miami Heat. I think we win that game with Joel. But say you have a game where you're shooting bricks like we were in this game, you might lose that game. And then you would have to play the winner of Chicago-Atlanta. And I don't think we're losing that one. So I still have faith the Sixers come out of the play-in at least the 8th seed. If they come out of the 8th seed, you got Boston in the first round. As much as I would love to have the opportunity to try to knock off Boston in the first round, I got to be realistic. I would rather play the Bucks. And then you might be looking at Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals if you get there. Or if they get the 6th seed, you would have an easier matchup in the first round. You might play the Bucks in the second if they make it out of it. And I think if they avoid the Celtics in the first round, the path to the Eastern Conference Finals is very, very, very realistic for the 76ers. It really is. Carlos Rosado, thank you for the super chat. Eastwood, Sicko Nation, stand up. Mad Max had his chef's hat and apron on tonight. What a win. The momentum is shifting in the right direction. Let's go. Yeah, man, Maxey was unbelievable. Maxey was unbelievable, man. I don't know what else to say about it. He was unbelievable. From start to finish. He just kept going and going and going and going and going. The kid has more heart than maybe any player I've seen in a Sixers uniform since that boy Allen Iverson. That was an Allen Iverson style game by Tyrese Maxey. That was I'm getting knocked to the floor, I'm coming right back at you. I'm getting knocked to the floor again. No call here, no call there. I'm coming right back at you. I'm 1 for 7 from 3 in the first half. I'm coming right back at you. I'm missing shots here, there. My floater won't fall. My mid-range won't fall. I'm coming right back at you. And that span in the fourth quarter where he scored 7 straight, that was just that dog mentality, because you could have a terrible shooting game. Who's gonna shoot? You still got to shoot it. We still need you. That's why he had to shoot the ball 41 times. That was just such an Allen Iverson style game from Tyrese Maxey. I loved every second of it. And I'm just glad it ended in a W. I thought the defense on Wemby in overtime was great. It was strategic. We forced him into a really tough fadeaway that he airballed. The kid, his skill level at that size is absolutely insane. Not just his scoring ability, not just his post work, not just his three-point shooting, passing the ball too. This dude's making no-look skip passes to the corner off of being double-teamed at the top. Like, Victor Wembanyama has an unbelievable amount of skill. And the league is in good hands moving forward because, dude, 3, 4, 5 years, he might be winning championships. He might be leading the league in triple doubles. He might be dominating the NBA in the next couple of years. Scott Sotan, thank you for the super chat. Sicko leader, take us to the 6th seed. We can beat both the Cavs and the Bucks. Man, I hope so, man. What size contract should we give Kelly this season? I feel like we need to keep him at all costs. Absolutely, you need to keep him at all costs. Kelly had, let me get the stats up here, man. Let me get the stats up here. Kelly Oubre had 26 points in the game, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. I felt like Kelly Oubre was having a really bad game for most of it. Most of the first half, he was turning the ball over. He was missing a lot of bunnies, jump shots right next to the rim, things like that. He was struggling. He was 2 for 6 from 3. But another guy that has that mentality. I'm coming right back at you. You know, and you got to respect that from Kelly Oubre because he gets that confidence from himself. You know, you could talk about a guy like Tyrese Maxey, and he has the confidence himself too. But somebody like Tyrese Maxey constantly has the coaching staff and constantly has people around him telling him, you're the guy. You need to go. You need to score. Kelly Oubre, He's been told the last couple of years that he's a shot chucker. He's been told the last couple of years that he needs to stop, that he needs to play a better team game, that he's a ball hog, that people talk about teammates don't like playing with him, this, and that. He's still coming right back at you. You got to respect that level of blinders. Kelly Oubre does not care what anybody thinks, ever. He's coming right back at you. I respect it. The 22 field goal attempts in this game is huge because without that 26 points, without him having the confidence to put the ball up 22 times, we don't win this game. And his physicality is always something that's incredibly valuable. And he just kept coming back and back and back and back again. Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for the super chat. Let's give Batum his flowers this game because people have been abusing him lately, especially in the fourth quarter. Yeah, man, you got to give Batum his flowers. And, well, people have been abusing him because he's been putting up goose eggs, you know? And there's not really much that Batum can do without, you know, he's so much better playing alongside Joel Embiid. He's not going to create a shot. He's not going to, you know, but he was playing, listen, at his age, playing the defense that he was playing, I thought it was great. I think his defense is really underrated at his age. Really underrated. I've been saying that, I think, the whole season. We've had Nicholas Batum in situations where he was a really important defender, and he was a really important defender tonight on Wemby a lot, late in the game, fourth overtime, double overtime. But, yeah, big-time shots. Big-time shots. The one from Ricky Council late in the second overtime was huge. And Nicholas Batum's passing ability is really impressive for a big man. And the play, you know, to send it to overtime, yeah, it was a play to send it to overtime that they had set up where Maxey got a screen at half court and just sprinted to the rim or did a back cut to the rim. Without Batum dropping that pass in there perfectly, the game is over. You know, there's a guy hounding Maxey. There's another help defender trying to slide over. Both of their hands are out. That ball has to be in the absolute perfect spot for that play to happen. And Nicholas Batum, huge basketball IQ, and he's very, very accurate with the ball. And I started to think back to another game where we had Tobias Harris inbounding the ball in crunch time, and he threw it away. And Nicholas Batum had 0 minutes in that game, and Nick Nurse put Batum in the game just to inbound the ball. He's that good at it. And Nicholas Batum inbounding the ball in that play to drop it in the breadbasket for Tyrese to lay it in, sent it to overtime. And so we don't win this game without Tyrese Maxey dragging us with 52 points. We don't win this game without Kelly Oubre being a fighter. We don't win this game without Ricky Council coming in and doing what he did in those minutes. And we also don't win this game without Nicholas Batum doing the things that he did. A couple of huge shots, and that pass on that inbound play to tie the game was huge. So shout out to Nicholas Batum also. Man, we got the super chats flying in. Thank you guys for the support, man. I appreciate it. Alexander Van Ellis with a $20 super chat. Thank you, sir. Very much appreciated. My man DJ, this team is going to be very tough to play in the playoffs. Nurse, if nothing else, gets and keeps everyone engaged and will never be a Glenn Rivers easy out. Also bought a Sicko shirt repping in Delco. Also, great game. Tobias. My brother, amazing comment right there, man. Amazing comment. There's 3 things you said right there, bro. The first thing is the Nick Nurse thing. And I completely agree with that. And I am ecstatic that I no longer have a coach that I don't feel confident in. And you're absolutely right when you said Nurse, if nothing else, gets and keeps everyone engaged. When you see this team, it's happened so many times this season now, even without Joel Embiid, when we're down guys, when we're playing in games where we might not, when we're down guys, we're playing in games where we look like we don't have a fighter's chance in the first half. Nick Nurse does not care. He does not want to hear the excuses. And they always come out the second half with a different level of fight and a different level of energy because Nick Nurse will not accept a loss. He won't just sit back and say, the basketball gods didn't want us to win tonight, to quote the legendary Glenn Rivers. He won't just sit back and say, it was a scheduled loss. He won't sit back and say, I was always blown away by that because I believe so much in energy and confidence and positive energy. And like, that's such loser energy. How are you going to win anything with your coach sitting up there saying it was a scheduled loss? So I'm so glad the loser energy is over. And you have a coach that if you lose, you lose. It is what it is. But he's going to absolutely try to get everything he can out of everyone on the floor to win the game until the clock hits 0. He will not be down in the first half and just be like, oh, it's scheduled loss. And really, when you look at his adjustments, Cameron Payne is another good example of this in this game. Cameron Payne was terrible in this game, couldn't buy a bucket. He was 1 for 8 from the floor. He was 1 for 5 from 3. He had 3 points. He was a -9. And we love Cameron Payne. But if it wasn't Nick Nurse coaching this team, and say Cameron Payne was one of those players that Doc Rivers loved who was playing the whole season, he would have played the rest of the game, not being able to make a shot. Nick Nurse said, Cam can't buy a bucket in this game. And I don't think he brought him back in the second half. Maybe he was still in the beginning of the third quarter, but I don't remember seeing him fourth quarter, double overtime, nothing. So we have a coach also in Nick Nurse who is willing to actually make adjustments. This dude can't buy a bucket. I need somebody else to come out and try to do something, and he puts Ricky Council in the game, and that decision won the game. As much as I get on Nick Nurse for the Ricky Council disrespect and not giving him rotation minutes for some reason, at least he made the adjustment. At least he said, I'm going with the guy that I haven't played legitimate minutes in a month. I'm putting him in the game and see what happens. That's what making adjustments is. So yeah, you have a coach that actually makes adjustments. He keeps everyone engaged. What else did you say? Glenn Rivers, easy out. Also bought a Sicko shirt, repping in Delco. Great game, Tobias Harris. Yeah, great game, Tobias. I don't know. That's my only thing. I think that Cameron Payne adjustment and putting Ricky Council in the game because Cam couldn't buy a bucket does that same thing apply to Tobias Harris? This is what I've been talking about a lot of this season. If Tobias Harris is 1 for 8 in the first half and is completely checked out and his body language is terrible, why is he still in the finishing lineup? Why is he still in the closing lineups? Because I've seen it plenty of times this season. And to me, that's politics. Because Cameron Payne has a terrible shooting night after starting the game and doesn't come back in the game. This is exactly what should happen with Tobias Harris if he's selling the first 3 quarters. Nick Nurse should say, I don't care how much he's being paid. Now, if he's having a good game, by all means, I don't care. If his shot's falling and he's actually being strong and finishing strong at the rim and there's no reason to take him out, then okay. But if he's having a terrible first half or a terrible 3 quarters, the same should apply with Tobias Harris, and Nick Nurse should say, I don't care how much we're paying him, I'm putting Ricky Council in the game. I did see it in a game a while ago where Toby was really struggling and Nurse brought Council in the game. But then he put Tobias back in the closing lineup. And that's what makes me a little bit nervous about it because I feel like there's some politics at play there. And if Tobias is having a terrible game, he's always going to be in the finishing lineup. That's a really interesting thing to look for in the playoffs. And I'm really interested to see what happens. Because if we're going to go by the odds, Tobias doesn't ever really show up in the playoffs. Let's be serious. Digital Print House, thank you for being a member of the channel for 25 months. Stop playing with us. I swear I'm sicker than Diddy and a bohemian ritual circle jerk for this team. Wow. Can't believe I just read that out loud on the show. Good Lord. I swear some of you guys try to get me kicked off of YouTube, bro. I got to proofread the comments, man. William, let's play on end of regulation and end of first overtime were excellent. Last play and end of regulation and end of first overtime were excellent. Props to Nurse. Absolutely, 100% agree. Thanks for the super chat. Let's look at the standings, and then let's get out of here. Let's look at the standings. Standings. Here we go. What is this? Playoff picture. When did this start? Is this what I get when I click on standings now? I get a... Oh, okay. We got a playoff bracket. Let's go full screen on this. Can we go full screen on this? How do I go full screen? I guess I can't go full screen, can I? All right, we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it like this. We'll do it like this. Let's look at the playoff bracket. Maybe we can zoom in a little bit. No? All right, we got... Okay. That made it harder to see. All right, here we go. We're going to have to do it this way. Let's see what we got, man. So right now, the Indiana Pacers are 45-34 in the 6th seed. And if the playoffs started right now, they would play the Orlando Magic in the first round. The 76ers are 44-35. That is exactly one game behind the Indiana Pacers. The problem is the Pacers have 3 easy games left. So I don't think... Realistically, I think they have the Raptors. The Cavs are one of them. I think, the Raptors are really down and out, not playing anybody and really not trying to win it all. So that's not going to happen. The Sixers need to win their last 3, and we need the Cavs to beat the Pacers in one of those games. And then we would be tied, and there is a tiebreaker, and I don't know who owns that tiebreaker, so there's that. But right now, if the playoffs started right now, we would be playing the Miami Heat in the first play-in game. If you win that game, one-off game, if you win that game against the Miami Heat, which first of all, the level of stress that is about to be in our lives, you're telling me the odds are that right now we're going Joel Embiid, 76ers versus the Miami Heat. We got another Nick Nurse, Eric Spoelstra face-off. The two, in my opinion, best coaches in the NBA. Maybe you could put Michael Malone up there. You could put a couple others up there. But it's always a face-off when they face each other. It's always a chess match. It's just crazy to watch. The adjustments, the counters, everything. It's two masterminds at work who refuse to lose a game. You're telling me we're getting a Nick Nurse, Eric Spoelstra face-off in a play-in game. And Eric Spoelstra in a play-in game is dangerous. We know that already. Eric Spoelstra anywhere is dangerous. We know that already. He took 5 undrafted players to the NBA Finals, for crying out loud. 5 undrafted players. If you win that game, you play Doc Rivers and the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round of the NBA playoffs, and you can't write anything better than that. You can't write a story better than that. That's if the Bucks stay there. The Bucks just lost again. They're 47-31. The New York Knicks. Well, it looks like the who's in? Okay, let's look at the standings. Let's look at it this way. Bucks 47-31. The New York Knicks. Orlando jumped up to the 3rd seed. Didn't even realize that. Well, they're tied with the Knicks for the 3rd seed. But I guess they have the tiebreaker because this has them listed at 3. Cleveland's down at 5 right now. I don't even have confidence that the Bucks are going to stay in the 2nd seed. So maybe you win this first play-in tournament game. And, bro, what does it say about the East if the Orlando Magic are the 2nd seed going into the playoffs? The 2nd seed? I'm not even trying to talk trash about the Orlando Magic, but the 2nd seed in the East? So maybe you win that play-in game and you face the Orlando Magic. because the Bucks keep losing. Let's look at who the Bucks have left. Who do the Bucks have left? Where are we at? The Bucks have Boston. All right, the Bucks lost 4 in a row. Washington, Memphis, Toronto, and New York. And looking at that schedule, you would have said even the Milwaukee Bucks are winning at least 2 of these. They lost all 4 to the Wizards, the Grizzlies, the Raptors. These are the bottom teams in the NBA. They were not even trying to win. And then they lose to the Knicks. They lost 4 in a row. So what are their chances? Oh, my God. Bro, look at the end of their schedule. Never mind. The Milwaukee Bucks aren't staying in the 2nd seed. They got the Celtics, the Magic, OKC, and the Magic again. The Bucks might lose out. They're not staying in the 2nd seed. I take it back. That's crazy. The Bucks might lose out. And then what do? You got Doc Rivers on the payroll for another 3 years. And if they lose out at the end of the season to fall out of the 2nd seed in the East, you got to fire Doc Rivers straight up. So you might be in a play-in game and face the Orlando Magic in the first round. Nobody knows really right now. But you need the Pacers. You need the Pacers to lose a game to avoid the play-in. It's still possible, but here's the Pacers' schedule to finish the season. They just beat the Miami Heat tonight, 117-115. I'll have to watch the highlights of that one. That was a close one. They beat Oklahoma City. Game before that, 126-112. They play Toronto, Cleveland, Atlanta. I don't have faith in Toronto beating them. Maybe Cleveland could take them out. The Pacers haven't been super dominant, but they've been playing better these last couple of games. And I don't know about the Hawks. The Hawks are a wild card with DeJounte Murray. Sometimes he goes off, sometimes he doesn't. We'll have to see about that. But if the Pacers don't lose one of those games, we are in the play-in tournament. And I don't think the Bucks are going to stay in the 2nd seed. I absolutely don't. Celtics, Magic, Oklahoma City Thunder, and Magic again? Did you see where Doc Rivers blamed the travel support staff for the Bucks' recent losses? What a pretender. Absolutely, I did see that. It was hilarious. Doc Rivers is the most loser energy coach I have ever seen. Ever. Brett Brown wasn't good. Brett Brown, I felt like was out of his was coaching out of his league. You know? I didn't think he was prepared to be an NBA coach. Doc Rivers, just straight loser energy. And yeah, I mean, he's blamed everything under the sun now in his career. I mean, there's an interview where he went down the list of all of his playoff losses and gave excuses for every single one. That's one of the craziest interviews. If you haven't seen that, he goes down through all of his blown playoff leads and he gives an excuse for each one. It's crazy. I think the Bucks got to fire Doc Rivers if they lose out and fall out of the 2nd seed. That's wild. I wonder who he's going to blame tonight, man. I wonder who he's going to blame tonight. Before I get out of here, thanks for being here. 847 people. Please hit the like button. Give me 800 likes. Let's try to get over 1,000. We're going to go over to Twitter right now. We're going to see what the Sixers fan base is talking about. We got some, well, let me bring this up. We got some Ricky Council love on the timeline. People tagging Daryl Morey in some Ricky Council posts. Ricky Council to a standard contract. Okay, we're trying to convince Daryl Morey to sign Ricky Council to a standard NBA contract. He's still on what, a 2-way? I don't know. You should be tagging Nick Nurse in that, but Nick Nurse doesn't have Twitter because he's not a weirdo like Daryl Morey is. What else we got, man? The Sixers wish me a happy birthday. Maxey dropped a career high. Philadelphia 7th seed. Let's see. None of this is Sixers related. Give me the Sixers stuff, man. Let's go to Sixers page, see what they got. Let's go to the Sixers page, see what they got. Road Dogs. Road Dogs. They're showing Ricky Council. Ricky Council's hugging Tobias Harris. I just think he earned it. I think he earned rotation minutes. And I don't know how you don't give it to him. We'll see, man. What do you guys think, bro? Tell me what you think. Do you think Nick Nurse is going to use Ricky Council in the playoffs? Digital printout. Sorry, DJ. I'm a few IPAs in. Syndrome. Dude, hey. I understand you drinking IPAs after watching that game. I understand you drinking some IPAs after watching that game because that one was stressful. Eden says no. Mr. says no on is Nick Nurse going to use Ricky Council in the playoffs? I think he will if he gets in a situation like he was in tonight. I don't think he's going to give him just 20 minutes for no reason. I don't think he's going to give him just regular rotation minutes for no reason. But when everybody else is playing like shit like tonight, when everybody outside of Maxey and Oubre flat out couldn't make anything happen, I think he will use Ricky Council in situations like that, like he did tonight, where he's like, I need something to happen. I'm putting Ricky in the game. I like that he had the balls to do it. I like that he doesn't care about, offending a player or whoever, except when we'll see with the Tobias Harris stuff, but I think he will if he gets in a situation like that. If Nurse doesn't use Ricky in the playoffs, I'm turning into the equalizer. C4 gets Isaiah Jode. He gets not used in the playoffs. The Sixers don't sign him, and he gets picked up by the Oklahoma City Thunder, and he wins Sixth Man of the Year next season. That would be very, very 76ers, would it not? It would. It wouldn't shock me. But I like to I have a little bit more faith in Nick Nurse than that. Is he stubborn? Sure. Does he have the stubbornness that all very experienced, high-level coaches have? Of course. Because he's like, I won a championship. I know what I'm doing. My way is the right way. And, of course, he has that level of stubbornness. But I like the fact that he's a lot more open-minded than the guy that we had before. And he's not afraid to switch things up when things aren't working. Because we watched a guy play P.J. Tucker 40 minutes a game all season, putting up goose eggs, and the guy can't even get on the floor under actually Doc Rivers' replacement, Tyronn Lue. Daniel Lesage, Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey both now have their career highs against Victor Wembanyama-led defense. You can't put it like that, though. I mean, listen, Joel gave Wemby 70 straight up, face-to-face. He gave Wemby 70 in his grill. One-on-one, ISO ball, gave him 70. But the Spurs are not good outside of Wemby. If it wasn't for him, I mean, he's averaging 4 blocks a game. If it wasn't for him, that team would be not even, and they are, I think they do have they have the worst record in the league? But yeah, Wemby's a good defender. Martin, one time brother, favorite Brett Brown quote. You already know mine is, it's like how long is a piece of string. Gotta hear it. My favorite Brett Brown quote of all time is, because we talked for years about how random ball handling shooters would light the 76ers up. And Brett Brown said, we really struggle with live ball gods. And he meant guards, but his weird Boston/Australia accent that only Brett Brown possesses. He says, gods. You're from Boston, bro. Why is Boston a different country? How does a city so close to where I live have such a ridiculous accent? Anyway, that's my favorite Brett Brown quote of all time. We really struggle with live ball gods. And I used to bring that up just for fun because Brett Brown's crazy. I mean, he was born in Boston and then he lived in Australia for a long time, and those two accents got mixed together, and that's what you get, I guess. Go Sixers. Much love from Germany. Love the content. We are worldwide. We are worldwide. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, thank you all for the love. Thanks for the super chats, man. The Sixers, look, that was a gutsy win. You know, even though it's the Spurs, Wemby was doing his thing, and we very well could have lost that game. That was a gutsy win without Joel. And Sixers are cooking right now, man. Sixers are cooking right now, and this might be the most dangerous team in the NBA going into the playoffs. This might be the most dangerous team in the NBA going into the playoffs. I don't think anybody wants to see this team. With Maxey on the level he's at right now, Oubre doing what he's doing, Joel Embiid back healthy, I don't think anybody wants to see the Sixers in the playoffs. We're upsetting somebody. We are upsetting somebody. Rocket Star, Go Sixers from Australia. Hey, man, thanks for being here. What do you think about Brett Brown's accent, man? Brett Brown was the worst coach I've ever seen. He took Doug Moe's place. I don't know who Doug Moe is. Doug Collins? Mo Cheeks? Doug Collins and Mo Cheeks? Or did you just combine them as one person? Bro loves us. He does not want to end the stream, Sicko Nation. Hey, man, I like reading the comments. I like hanging out. I am tired, though. It is a Sunday night. The game took a lot out of me. I feel like, why does watching a basketball game take so much energy? That's why the Bucks keep losing. They low-key ducking us. People keep saying that. And yeah, they don't. I mean, let's be serious. The Bucks do not want to see us in the playoffs. But so they're trying to. You think they're actually? Do people actually think that? That the Bucks are actually intentionally falling to the third seed to try not to play us in the first round? If you're intentionally losing to avoid a first round matchup, that's even crazier loser energy than I thought. That's even crazier loser energy than I thought, man. Yeah. Yeah, and hopefully I should get my PC back this week so we can get back to the Discord, back to taking live callers, because I'm not going to lie to you guys. A lot of times I say everything I want to say, and, and then I'm bored. Then I'm like, I need people to talk to me, I need to hear from the people. So I'm excited to get the PC back and taking live calls from the Discord and things like that. Yeah. That's all I got, man. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. I'm out. Hit the like button, man. Do me that solid. Go Sixers.